Boosie going to jail. Oh, God is good. Oh, God is good. I keep telling y'all, street niggas ain't got no God. God do not look out for street niggas. Boosie really thought he wasn't going to jail for that pistol. I knew he was going. I said, well, wait. I couldn't wait to celebrate.
Boosie Badass really thought he was in the clear. The courtroom battles, the constant stress, the weight of years spent dodging the system, he thought it was over. In his mind, the gun case from last year had been dismissed. Life was supposed to go back to normal. Music, shows, and a fresh start. He even said it himself, I was ready to move on. But God don't make mistakes. But just when it felt like the storm had passed, the skies opened up again. In a twist that shocked fans and fueled the internet rumor mill, Boosie revealed he just accepted a federal plea deal tied to those same charges, the ones he thought were long behind him. And it didn't take long for the vultures to circle. Charleston White, Boosie's loudest and most unapologetic hater, wasted zero time jumping on the news. I knew he was going. I couldn't wait to celebrate, he said on a live stream, grinning like he just won the lottery.
I keep telling y'all, street niggas ain't got no God. God do not look out for street niggas. Boosie really thought he wasn't going to jail for that pistol. I knew he was going. I said, well, wait. I couldn't wait to celebrate. Say, boy, I can't wait till Boosie go to jail. Say, boy, I'm gonna have me I'm gonna go live all day long when Boosie go to jail and let y'all request. I'm rubbing it in Tootie raw face. Tootie, I told your ugly ass to leave me alone. I left your dad alone, but you keep been fucking with it. I knew he was going to jail.
This wasn't just another rapper taking a deal. This was a public fall from confidence and a private war becoming very, very public. And we're just getting started. For Boosie Badass, the courtroom has always been just as familiar as the recording booth. Before the world knew him as a fiery Louisiana rapper with a cult following, Boosie was already entangled in the justice system. His rap sheet dates back decades, and not just for petty trouble. We're talking serious charges, major time, and close calls that would have ended most careers before they even started. Back in the early 2000s, Boosie's run-ins with the law were constant weapons, drugs, parole violations. But it all escalated in 2009 when he was indicted for first-degree charges, and while that charge was eventually dropped, Boosie still served 5 years in prison on unrelated charges, mostly drug-related, stemming from a string of violations. That kept piling up. When he finally walked out in 2014, fans treated it like a comeback story. Boosie was free, wiser, and ready to leave the past behind, or so it seemed. But the streets never fully let go, and neither did the feds. In 2023, a new charge came knocking: possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. He caught the case in San Diego, and this time the feds were watching closely. The charge was eventually dismissed, and for a moment, Boosie breathed easy again. But if there's one thing that's defined his legal history, it's that no win ever comes without a twist, and that twist was just around the corner. The 2023 firearm charge should have been the end of it. Boosie had been arrested in San Diego, caught by federal agents after allegedly being spotted with a weapon, a clear violation for someone with his record. But somehow, he walked away. The case was dismissed. No conviction, no sentence, no plea. Boosie, it felt like divine intervention. He went online, celebrated, told fans it was all behind him. For once, it seemed like the legal system had given him a break, but that victory was short-lived. In 2024, nearly a year later, the same charge came roaring back, this time with federal weight behind it. The difference? This wasn't just a local gun charge anymore. This time, prosecutors added a drug-related indictment to the pile. No one saw it coming, the same case. But worse, the same charge, but now tied to even heavier consequences. And for Boosie, the most frustrating part wasn't just that he was back in court, it was that he was fighting a case he thought he'd already beaten. From his perspective, it felt like a trap. Like no matter how far he tried to move, the past was always waiting with handcuffs in hand. The legal system had circled back, and this time, it wasn't leaving empty-handed. Boosie Badass didn't fold easily. If there's one thing he's known for, it's pushing through trial after trial, setback after setback. But when the refiled gun charge hit in 2024, stacked with a new drug-related indictment, something shifted. He wasn't just fighting a case anymore. He was fighting exhaustion. On X, Boosie made the announcement that stopped fans cold. Just accepted a plea from the federal government on my gun case. The words didn't sound like a man defeated, they sounded like a man drained. I thought this case was over, and I was going to get on with my life. But God don't make mistakes. And I'm tired of fighting. It wasn't just legal fatigue. Behind the scenes, Boosie had been talking to his family, weighing the risks, the money, the years, the possibility of losing more than just time. And in the end, the plea deal wasn't about guilt. It was about survival. Fans across the world lit up the comments, confused, supportive, heartbroken, even angry. But Boosie had one message for them: say a prayer for y'all boy. And go, get the new album. That album, #WordSoFairAlone, dropped right alongside the plea news, a mix of timing and tragedy. It wasn't just promotion. It was his way of staying in control of the narrative, even as the system tried to write the ending for him. And as Boosie signed the deal, one thing became clear: this wasn't just a legal move, it was a public turning point. And the wolves, they were already circling. If there's one person who lives for moments like this, it's Charleston White. The second Boosie announced his plea deal, Charleston didn't hold back, he pounced. No empathy, no pause, just pure mockery, live, on camera, as if he'd been waiting for this exact fall. Boosie really thought he wasn't going to jail. He laughed, barely hiding his glee. I knew he was going. I couldn't wait to celebrate. For Charleston, this wasn't just another rapper catching a case, it was personal. His feud with Boosie runs deep, messy, and very public. They've traded shots for years, Boosie calling him a clown, Charleston firing back with relentless disrespect. But this time, Charleston had the upper hand, and he made sure the world knew it.
So I just sat back. I'm finna make y'all ass cry when Boosie go to jail. I'm gonna celebrate like a motherfucker. Boosie going to jail. All that newborn baby. Boosie won't get to see that newborn baby till that baby be walking and talking.
It wasn't just words. It was performance the way Charleston always does it. He mocked Boosie's fans, questioned his street credibility, even laughed at the timing of the plea. For Charleston, this was victory by humiliation.
Boosie going to jail! I knew they were gonna get him. Boy, I was mad. I thought.
But here's the thing, Charleston doesn't just go after rappers. He builds his brand off their chaos. And with Boosie now facing sentencing and public scrutiny, Charleston saw an opening not to debate, but to dominate the narrative. He wasn't offering commentary. He was throwing salt in front of thousands watching live. And while some fans found it hilarious, others saw it for what it really was, a calculated move to kick a man while he was down. But the question now wasn't just why Charleston reacted the way he did. It was what came next when the internet picked sides. As soon as Boosie hit post, the internet split in two. On one side, you had the loyal fans, people who've ridden with Boosie through every trial, every setback, every headline. They flooded the comments with support. Stay strong, Boosie. We praying for you. Big bro, you'll bounce back like always. To them, this was just another test, another chapter in a story Boosie's been writing for decades. And for every new headline, they've shown up like family. But the other side, they didn't hold back. Within minutes, the memes started flying. Screenshots of his "I'm tired of fighting" quote turned into punchlines. TikToks using Charleston White's audio. People reposting his past interviews where he said he never fold. Suddenly, the Boosie who once rapped about standing tall in the face of pressure was being labeled a quitter. He folded all that talking, and now he took a deal. Boosie ain't Boosie no more. It was brutal, and Boosie knew it. He even addressed it indirectly by doubling down on his album promo, almost like he was reminding the world, I'm still here, I'm still working. But the division was loud and impossible to ignore. For every fan lighting a candle, there was another lighting up the comments with sarcasm. For every prayer, there was a punchline. And the internet did what it always does, it turned a man's legal battle into a viral moment. Now the question wasn't just about Boosie's case. It was about the culture itself. Is loyalty conditional? Or was Boosie just never built to be a hero? Whose side are you on? As the news of Boosie's plea deal spread, one question started flooding his DMs. What about the shows? Fans weren't just worried about the court case. They were worried about their tickets. Boosie had performances lined up for September, and with his sentencing hearing scheduled for late August, people started assuming the worst. Canceled tours, no shows, refund chaos. The internet filled in the blanks fast and Boosie had to step in to clear the air. Jumping back on Instagram, he addressed it directly, "My DM full. A lot of people tripping about my shows in September because I go for my plea August 26th. But that ain't how it go." Then he dropped the clarification that most fans didn't know. Once you take a plea, your sentencing ain't till 2-3 months after it. So I'm gonna be at every show, of course. In other words, Boosie's not behind bars. Not yet. And until that sentencing date hits, he's moving like business as usual. It was a smart move addressing panic before it turned into a narrative. Because in the court of public opinion, silence becomes guilt fast. But Boosie wasn't having that. He's still performing, still promoting, still in the spotlight. Yes, there's a dark cloud hanging overhead, but right now, the man is still on stage with a mic in hand. And depending on what the judge says in a few months, this might be the last tour for a long time. Right now, Boosie Badass is still walking free, still performing, still posting. But with a federal plea deal on the table and sentencing just months away, there's a sense of calm that feels temporary, like something's building. He's made his decision to stop fighting, to take the deal, to let the court decide his fate. And while some see it as strength, others see it as surrender. But this moment isn't just about Boosie, it's about what happens when street legacy meets federal reality, when the old school code collides with a system that doesn't play by the same rules. And in the background, voices like Charleston White are getting louder, not just mocking individuals, but challenging the entire culture that made them. Charleston didn't just celebrate Boosie's downfall, he used it to make a statement. To him, this is about exposing what he sees as hypocrisy in hip-hop. And he's not the only one talking. So now the spotlight shifts to us, the viewers, the fans, the ones who've watched Boosie's rise, fall, and return more times than we can count, because what happens next could change everything. Do you think Boosie made the right call by taking the deal? Drop your thoughts in the comments. This conversation is far from over.